Can you hear me, Gerald? We'll give it a few minutes to let everybody else get in here. I'm a couple minutes early. I like to check and make sure everything is working. You never know when the project camera, something's gonna just decide it doesn't want to work. So, get that zoomed in. Hey, Sue. Hi, Alice. I finally remembered who Hilltop was. First try, I got it. Hi, Jessica. You guys may see me moving back and forth. I kind of changed my setup a little bit, and I hope it works a little bit better for everybody. I'm not doing Chalk Couture tonight, Sue. I just got it, but I'm going to be covering some of the stuff on it. I'm glad you could join us, Jessica. I hope you enjoy it. Um, where it's all casual. You can ask any questions you want about Design Space on Wednesdays and on Fridays. Um, we're open and we will go over and answer any of the questions or help you with any problems that you're having on any projects. So don't hesitate to ask. The only wrong question is the one you didn't ask. So we're here to help. Hi, Neela. I reset my modem this time, guys, too, before I started. So hopefully I got a fresh server and that will help as well. So we won't be buffering. But all that buffering was Friday night. So I'm thinking there must have been a lot of lives going on Friday. So that might have been that issue. Can you guys hear me okay? Is it too loud or? Hey, Lavada. Hey, Mo. Great, great. Okay, guys, I'm not going to be able to go live Friday because I have my niece's wedding is this month, and we've had her bridal shower. We still have the bachelor party. I have a yard sale. I have chalk couture I'm trying to learn. Um, just tons of stuff. And because I'm going live tonight, and then I'm going live Saturday for my Patreons, um, I thought we would just combine tonight and do design space questions and a project tutorial or two from start to finish. That includes designing it in design space, cutting it, the whole 9 yards. So, oh, Alice. You got everything out, did you, Mo? You got your bright pad, your easy press, everything. But we're going to do some cards. We're going to do that tie the knot card and that twisted base. Well, they're both the same base, but you get two uses out of it. So we're going to go over that. And because I'm not going live Friday, we're going to do winter chicken dinner tonight. So Jessica is new. She doesn't know what winter chicken dinner is. So I'm going to explain. Every week, usually on Fridays, I ask a question about something that we've covered on Design Space or a project, something of that nature. And whoever gets the answer correct after I do my 3, 2, 1 countdown wins a prize from me. So let me switch on over to Design Space and we'll go ahead and do winter chicken dinner and get that out of the way. Okay, And tonight's question, because this is Wednesday, is going to be something that most of you should know if you've been in Design Space this week. You should know that this took effect. We did have an update. Let me get my cursor over here. And what was that latest feature that we received in the last Design Space update? 3, 2, 1, go. Yay, Sue! Well, Sue already has something, some happy mail coming to her. I sent it off today. So, Laveda. Am I saying that right? Is it Laveda or Lavada? I got you, Sue. I got you covered. Laveda won it. Okay, I got it, Laveda. B. Wiggins. I'm going to say Brittany. Brandy. Brenda. Belinda. It's Belinda. B. Wiggins is Belinda. I think I'm getting the names now. And Laveda is a Patreon. So I have your address on the Patreon where you signed up, Laveda, and I will get you your winner chicken dinner prize. Let me show you guys what that is. I'm going to switch over to the project camera real quick. And Laveda is, of course, going to get her $1 million bar. So you're going to get that. And then you're going to get a Spellbinders die set, the Flamingo die set. You're going to get that. And you're going to get a Wink of Stella in the glitter red. So I'm going to see a pretty pink card. And you're going to get one of the cards that I make tonight too, Laveda. So you're going to get the pink one that I make. So you just let me know, do you want the pink one to have the tie the knot in it, or just leave it blank so you can put whatever sentiment? Yeah, the Wink of Stellas, they're really nice. Jessica, it's like a glitter type pen. If you're familiar with Spectrum Noir glitters and things like that, it just adds some sparkle. You can, I'm not going to open her pen and show you. I have some Spectrum Noirs, but you can just color over on stuff. This is a piece of vellum, and I don't know if you can see that shimmer and shine. It'll give you a little extra oomph on your card, on your stamps and things like that. So anybody that's wondering what Wink of Stella is. And that was, in case some of you guys did not know what that feature was, I'm just going to click back over here to Design Space. And now when you click on Make It for a project, of course I'm not going to make winner chicken dinner, but we're just going to use it for an example. I'm going to click OK and continue and select your machine. Once you've selected your machine, when we set our materials, we had a block of materials here, and we all found ourselves hitting browse on materials and changing it. Now right up under there, you see we have favorites and the popular. All of your populars are still there, and that's what you're going to see if you haven't changed it over yet. But if you click on this left side right here to favorites, you can select up to 12 favorites so that you have those now. And the way that you set those are you're going to go into Browse on Materials. And when you scan over them, you see those little stars appearing on the right. Those are where you turn on your favorites. So if you haven't set your favorites in your materials yet, you're going to love it. It works great because you can put what you use the most right here instead of having to browse every time you change a material. So just so you guys know that. So let's go ahead. Does anybody have any Design Space questions? Any problems that you're having before we get into the project? Because you're going to learn some stuff tonight, if you're new especially, on the project tonight. This is the twisted gate base. Okay, this is just a base. And it is set up for a tie the knot. As you can see that there are a couple of holes in these pieces. And the base piece here, there's some holes. Hey, Wanda. Jessica, the difference between vinyl and heat bond vinyl, on the settings, is that what you meant? The heat transfer vinyl, that one you really don't want to use because that's going to cut really deep. That's for a really heavy iron-on. No, you can ask at any time. Vinyl, when you come in here to your settings, let's just go over here. I'm going to select my machine and show you. So yes. When you come in here on your materials, you see iron-on here, and then you have your vinyl. Vinyl is for your 651 or, as Cricut's, regular vinyl. It is also comparable to Oracle's 631. That's like an indoor, okay? And your outdoor vinyl, Cricut does have an outdoor vinyl setting, but if you're using Oracle 651, which is at their outdoor, you can still use this vinyl setting right here. This is your regular iron-on, and if you notice these little C's down here in the bottom right corner, those are Cricut materials. So if you're not cutting a Cricut material and you're choosing those, you may want to do a test cut and make sure that it's not cutting too deeply or that it's cutting deeply enough, and adjust your settings there, because once you select it, there is a default for more or less pressure, okay? So make sure that you check those pressures, and I say do a star cut because that gives it some turns, and see if it's going to pivot, if it's going to cut through to your backing on the pivot and things like that. So just go in and do a star test cut, maybe a 1/2 inch big up in the corner of your design, and you can just stop your machine and pause it and check it and eject your mat and then start it over again. It's not going to hurt. It's just going to cut the star again, and if it cuts out of place on that, it really won't matter because that's just your test cut anyway. So if it's up in the corner of your design, it won't affect your design at all. You're very welcome. But make sure when you're doing iron-on that you put your shiny side to the mat, opposite of what your regular vinyl is. You want pretty side to the mat, and you want a mirror on iron-on. You're very welcome. Okay, guys, let's go back to the project. Oops, let me cancel. All right, this is, I had some writing in here, and I'm just going to get rid of this. Laveda, do you want which one, the pink or the blue? I'm going to do 2 cards. Which one do you want? Because it's going to determine how I cut. because I may have missed it up there. I know you said leave it blank. Okay, the blue. Okay, so you want the blue and you want it blank. Did you want that one with the knot, the tie the knot in it? The tie the knot cord? Okay. All right. We'll put the knot in it then, because you can do it. You can put several different sentiments. It doesn't have to be getting married. Okay. So this is the base for the tie the knot. I'm just going to pull some of these elements down out of the way. You're going to have your bases. And I am going to duplicate this only because I am going to do one that is not going to have a card in it, so that a ribbon in it for tie the knot. So I am going to select this one, and I'm just going to detach my score lines down here at the bottom. And I am then going to select it, and then contour becomes available for me. Contour will not be available if you have score lines attached. I don't know why. Some it does and some it doesn't. I don't know. I haven't figured out yet exactly why it does it sometimes and sometimes it won't. But if you're trying to contour something out and you have something attached to it, detach it and see if you can contour. So then I'm going to get rid of these holes for my other card because I'm not going to put that card in there. So I'm going to click contour and I'm going to hide those two holes. Okay? Or you can click hide all contours if those are the only ones you have. And now you notice my holes are gone. So then I'm going to select my score lines while I hold the shift. Oops. Let's just get that. And the card, I'm going to align it back center because I moved it. And then I'm going to attach it back. So now I have two bases. Okay? And I'm just going to hide that because I'm going to come back and cut that one. So now you've got your base, and then these are your decorative panels for this card, and you've got two sets. So if you're not doing one with the holes in it, you can just duplicate this one and hide it. But I'm going to come back and cut the other while we're putting the other one together, so I'm just going to leave it for now. This set of panels, if you notice, is going, the cut is going the opposite direction. And this is so that when you cut it, because it goes on the back side of the card that we can't see, your holes will line up and your pattern paper will show instead of the back side of your pattern paper. And then this is your decorative panel here. So I am going to be cutting this card out of the rose coral, so I'm going to change that to the rose. So this is how you're customizing your card, guys. And then these panels I am doing out of the Natalie Malin designer papers from Cricut. So I am going to change that to just a lighter pink of the same. And then I want this panel to match, so I'm going to change it by selecting the colors. And then I want this one, and I am going to select it. And I'm just using the same colors for these guys. You can cut out of any color you want. I'm actually going to be cutting this one out of the blue, but I'm just using these colors so that they show up well on screen. And then I don't have to change this one. I know I'm cutting this out of a pattern paper that matches this one here. So I can leave it that color. I just want it to go to the mat on a different mat instead of trying to cut out of the same mat. That's why I'm leaving it a different color. And just for time purposes, this is your medallion that goes on the front of the card. And I am just going to change mine out to something a little simpler. Let me go to images and let's type in circle. So you can customize this card for whatever you want. And I know there's there we go. I'm just going to get those right there. Actually, I want that one. And I am going to insert it. Just going to take that down a little bit. It doesn't need to be that large. That looks good. Okay, and let me change my colors on that because they are going to be two-tone. So I'm going to cut one out of this paper, and then I am going to cut this out of my second paper. So there I have those. This piece is a piece of vellum. So if you guys want any writing or you want to print and cut, you want to do it on this piece here. This is my design, Belinda, and it is in, you should be able to type in Design Space and pull it up. 853, just open any Design Space project, guys, any project you want. And up at the top in the URL section right up here, if you change the number to whatever project you have open to 853-71694, it will open. Let me see if it, I know YouTube changes everything, but maybe it won't change just the number. Let me give you guys that. And it's in the link on the replay of the video. Let me make sure I got that right. 853-71694. That's the number that you need. So you can change any of, just open any project. And you can come in here and you can cut with me. We're going to cut tonight, okay? So that's your project. But this piece is your vellum. So I'm leaving it a different color because it needs to go on a different thing. And I'm just going to leave this blank because this is my blue card and it's going to Laveda, and she said just leave it blank. So we're going to leave this one blank for her. And we're going to go ahead and send this to the mat. I am not going to save this because if I save it, I am going to be overwriting anybody trying to open that. But if you've set yours, go ahead and save it if you want. So we're going to click Make It, and then we're going to, and I've got that set for print and cut. I'm going to cancel that. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot to take it off. If you've got writing on yours, make sure you add your writing by going to text, selecting yours, and you want to select and attach, and it will go to for writing on there. If you want to print and cut, you're going to flatten, okay? And if you just want to cut, you're just going to, of course, put it on cut. So that's what these icons over here mean. This is cut. So whenever you're on a piece and you need to change it, if you're putting writing on there, you're going to attach it, and you will see the pen on your writing, and it will be attached to that piece. If you're going to put it on there and flatten it down here at the bottom after you select, put it where you want on this piece, select them both, and then flatten, it will change to a printer icon like this so that you can print and cut it, okay? And I will show you a print and cut on the next card that I make. So let's go ahead and make this one. Now that I've changed that to cut. And here is my vellum piece. Let me switch over to the project camera so you guys can see. Because we've had a lot of people that said that they don't even know how to get started. So I don't want anybody to be scared to use your machine. The machine won't do anybody any good just sitting there. And like I said, I'm using the Cricut Natalie Malin designer papers, guys, in case anybody wants to duplicate anything. And I am probably going to be sorry, but I really, really, really needed a new mat. So I do have a new mat today. I am going to start with the light, and these are double-sided papers, but I am just going to use this. Oops. See, I'm already messing up. We have vellum on the screen. So I'm going to hit continue. I'm ready to do my project. I have my vellum on my first mat. I've checked out everything and put everything on the mats like I want. Made any changes that I needed. Selecting my machine. And now I'm going to load the mat as soon as that starts to flash. So I need to select browse my materials because I don't cut vellum all the time. And I'm going to type in just VELL. It'll find it. And search. And Mac changed it to well for me. And there's my vellum. I'm going to select that. You guys don't need that bar, do you? Let's see. I lost my cursor. There it is. Okay, and now I have that. And you can see that the light is flashing. So some people are having their Cricut cut above the material on the mat. And the problem with that is they're hitting that load button and then they're sticking that mat in there. That won't work. Your mat needs to be in there and pressed up against these rollers before you hit this button, okay? That is the proper way to load. Hold your mat up against those rollers in the guides and then hit the load button. Yes, you can write on vellum, Alice. You can use, these are new Cricut gel pens. You can write on them with that. You can write on them with the regular. Just keep in mind it takes a little bit longer to dry on vellum because vellum is near plastic, okay? It's like transparency, but it's cloudy. So you want to give it a little bit extra time. It's a plastic paper. So once you have your vellum in there, and if you're going to write, it will tell you to insert your pen, and then you're just going to press the go button. Yes, Belinda, it is. I mean, if you can think it with a Cricut, chances are you can do it. And so we're just cutting that vellum piece out now, and it looks like it hung on a corner. I really do need to change my blade out, but yeah, I hung right there. But that's okay. I'll fix it. I bet you guys want to know how I'm going to fix that, right? I'm just going to cut it out of that right there because I know I need a new blade. It's good enough for a cardstock, but not for vellum. Vellum, you want to make sure your blade is sharp. So now we're going to move over to the, I'm putting the wrong paper on there again, my accent piece that goes to the front, which I want the dark blue for that. So I am going to press it up against the rollers again. This is mat number 2, and it's going to cut those 2 pieces, and the back side of the medallion piece. That's what's cutting now. And then you're going to press go. It wants this, no tools, just cut. It'll tell you what tools you need. And I'm going to, just for time purposes, cheat and recut my vellum. Three and a quarter. Set that to the side, and we're going to unload that mat. And I've got a new mat, so I'm going to flip it over and pull my paper off that way so I don't get a whole lot of curl, and I can flatten it out easier. If I pull it the other way, then I'm probably not going to be able to do that. So here are my outside panels, And I'm just going to place them to the side. Now my next mat is my card base. And I am cutting that out of this white Cricut cardstock. And I'm going to go and change from the designer paper to the 80-pound cardstock, which is the Cricut. Cricut is 80 pound. You didn't know that about the roller, Belinda? Yeah, if you, a lot of people are saying they're thinking there's something wrong with the machine, and occasionally it may be the machine, but I haven't seen that, but one machine that did that, and Cricut fixed that. So, but 99.9% of the time, if it's cutting above your material on the top of the mat, it wasn't loaded properly. So now we've scored, and now it's starting to cut. And I am going to see if I can't cut this really quick before. And guys, these trimmers are awesome. If you don't have one, I would grab one of those up. Simply because I use mine for scoring too. Sometimes when I'm doing chipboard and stuff like that, we know the Cricut won't score because it's scoring on a hard surface. And when it's scoring on a hard surface, it really doesn't have any room to score. Well, I lost this piece to one of mine, so I ordered another, and it was the best thing I could have done. I found that piece, and now I have one, and I just keep my score blade in one and my trim blade in another, and I don't have to swap them out. I got them when they were on sale. So you can get them for about $8 with the group codes and stuff. And so I'm just folding my mat over and peeling this back, and I have my card base. And then this will go into my scrap box. And then our last mat is going to be our inside decorative panels. We're just going to line them up on, make sure you get them lined up on the mat good. And again, we're going to hit go. And I'm going to change this back to my designer paper. And let's see, deluxe paper. And done. And then we're just going to press go again. Is everybody with me so far? You can pay monthly, Belinda. Yeah, use the group link. Belinda, come to the group and we'll give you a link for access. And that way we get credit for it. I get a small commission if you use our links. And I use those for giveaways for the group every month. And for making projects and bringing you guys tutorials and things like that. A special tool to score with the cutter. Alice, they come with one. I'll grab the other and show you while the next mat's cutting. I'm just going to remove these pieces from the mat. And guys, I'm going to change my blade real quick before I do that most of you may need to see this anyway before I do that next piece of vellum. But you're just going to take out your housing and you're going to push in on this. And when you do, it pushes the blade out. And you're just going to carefully pull it out. That's all there is to it. And I know this is a new blade because I almost changed it yesterday. Then you're just going to push that pin back down, drop the new blade in, and it's in. It's got a magnet in there. Let it drop in. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's how easy it is to change out that blade. Now the rotary blade is a little different, but they do have a video on that. I have not changed mine yet. Let me grab my other paper here. And let's go back over to Design Space so I can show you the cutting of the card without the cord so that you guys know how to do that one. And we're going to put some, oh yeah, we're going to put some writing on this one. Okay, so now here we are. I just finished that project and I am going to click finish and it'll bring me back to the mat. Now this one isn't going to have a cord. Remember I made that, showed you on the contour on that other one and I hit it. I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to unhide that one. That's my base. And here is my vellum. Here's my decorative panels. But these decorative panels have holes in them. Now I'm just going to get rid of that because I'm not going to save this. So I need to come over here and detach, select it, contour, hide all contours, and get rid of the holes on that. And the same with this one. First I better come back and attach because I want that cut line attached in there. And I'm going to select this one. Oops. Sorry about that. I went to detach, select it, contour, hide all contours, and then that one is ready. I just need to select them both and attach my cut line again. So now this one is ready to cut as well, but I want something on this vellum. So let me arrange and move that to the front so we can work on it. And I'm just placing my vellum on the mat there before I get lost with it. So let's put, I don't know, let's make this say just because card. So I'm just going to click on my text and type just because. Okay, and now I need to size that down to fit on that vellum. Remember in a couple of videos, some of you have been with us on the lives. Just because you have all this space doesn't mean you need to use it all. When you buy a card from Hallmark or what, it doesn't slam you in the face with the sentiment. So you'll want to size it accordingly, but I want to change this to write. So I am going to come up here and come to a writing font on this. Okay, but I really don't like that font. So I'm going to come in here. I like a Perfect Day. This is one of my favorite fonts for writing. And it kind of fits with this type card with the watercolor. So pick your font, and I'm just going to make this bigger so I can take a look at it. I don't like the way that that T is not close to that. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to go to Advanced, and I'm going to ungroup to Letters. I'm going to move everything out of my way so I can work with this. Because works perfectly fine for me. If you want your letters to touch, they don't need to with this font. That's why I like it. It's a handwritten font, and this one doesn't look really good when they touch completely. So I like this one like that. I'm going to select those, and I'm going to attach it because I don't need to move those. I just want to move this T over just a little bit. so that it looks a little more cohesive there. I want to make sure I line it back up for the bottom. And then I'm going to select all of them and attach. That way I can move them. If you don't attach, they're going to move individually instead of as a group. Okay? And now I'm going to size it down. And I am going to place it on that vellum. Actually, I'm going to put that right there. I'm going to put that on that front piece. So I'm going to select that, and I am going to select that front piece, and I'm going to align, and I am going to center it. Okay? Now I need to detach because this is, ungroup because this is grouped. And get that piece out of the way. I moved the wrong piece. Arrange, move it back. Select these two pieces and align, center. And now I want to attach my writing, okay? Because if I don't, it's just going to try to write just because on the mat instead of on that piece. And I am going to leave the inside of this one, actually, I'm going to leave it blank. But you can write on this vellum or whatever. You don't really even need the vellum for this one. And you can write on the panel itself. That is right there. Okay? But I like this as a decorative panel, and I like to put that there. So you can just put whatever sentiment or stamp anything you want on it. You can write on it, anything you guys want to do. I'm going to leave this blank so Laveda can do something with this too. Okay? And she can just, I'll leave this loose. I won't glue it down in case she wants to change that. So now we have this card set up ready. We have no holes in this one because we're not doing the ribbon on this. So now I'm going to click Make It. And let's see, that's vellum. I'm going to move that to another mat. And I'm going to say New Mat because I forgot to change the color. Did you guys know you could do that? How many of you just learned something new? So now I can tell that because I didn't tell it that I was cutting that out of a different, I'm going to select a different color there so that I can put that on a totally different mat. Okay? So now I know that that is my vellum piece, and it was going to cut out of the same thing as my card base was. And that's not going to do me any good. So I don't have to go back and change the color there. I can do it right here. So any changes you want to make, you can do them all right here. You can even select a total new mat. How cool is that? Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. And we're going to put both of these together at the same time because the steps are basically the same. It is. It's a very handy feature to keep you from starting completely over. And I am going to start with my vellum piece because that's what I have on the mat. So I'm going to skip down here to mat number 4. That's my vellum. And I'm going to select my maker. And then I'm going to select my material. And it is not listed as one of my favorites. It probably should be because I cut a lot of vellum. I probably needed 24 slots instead of 12, but I'm going to take 12. I'm going to search. There it is. I'm going to select it. And I apologize, I keep getting to the bottom of my screen and moving my dot down there. And I'm going to leave that set to default. I changed my blade, so hopefully it won't get stuck this time. I always have that on that one corner with vellum a lot. So let me switch over to the camera so you guys can watch that cut. And I've just loaded it like I did the last one. And I'm going to hit go. And don't worry about the pink spot. That's where I just showed that spectrum earlier. You didn't know you could select the mat, Alice? Yes, you can select the mat. There's a lot that you can do on this page, guys. Now it's telling me to unload, so let's unload it and see the difference that a new blade makes, especially on vellum. Let me pull that off. It did not tear when it cut that last corner. It cut perfectly fine. Put that one in the scraps. And then my next mat is going to jump up to mat number 1. Let me show you guys that. Let me go over to, okay, you can see where I have cut mat number 4, which was my vellum right here. And it's got a check mark. So if I want to go out of order, I can, because it's going to tell me what mat I have selected and what mat I have cut. Okay? So when you're doing this now, make sure that you don't go and edit another until you loaded your mat and it started cutting, or it will start cutting the mat that you have selected. So make sure that you are selecting your mat and doing that in the correct order. And I am going to cut my accent next. And I'm just going to show you guys. So I'm just loading the mat just like we did previously, but I'm going to show you guys a couple of things here while it's cutting. And now I'm hitting my go button. Oh, I want to change that to my cardstock. And this is the deluxe paper. So I'm just typing DEL, search. There it is, deluxe paper. You don't even have to type out the whole thing. And hit done. And I'm just using my regular default pressure and I'm hitting go. Where are the 3 dots? You don't see them on the left side. If you are on this screen, Wanda, you will not see those dots. They go away. Okay, let me just come up here to this mat because that one's cutting. You can see it's cutting mat 2 right here. And click edit. I have no dots. I can move stuff around if I want and change it, but I have no dots. That is done on the first mat screen. Okay, you have to do that on the first mat screen. Otherwise, you have to start over. Once you've hit that and you started cutting, you can only come over here and move some pieces around on the mat that it is on. Or if you forgot to mirror, you can click mirror. Now you can pause your machine and do an edit. Those are the 2 lines beside your Cricut Go button. It's your pause button. Okay, and I'm going to switch back over here in just a second to the project camera. Let's just go ahead and finish cutting these last 2 sheets of paper. I just wanted you guys to see that there are things that you can do over here, and you see now that it's showing you I've cut this mat and I've cut this mat. See the check marks? I'm not going to get confused about what I have and have not cut if I skip around. So my next paper that I have on my hand is going to be my base. I'm using the Cricut Rose. Actually, let me go ahead and cut this while I'm on designer paper. And see, that's the thing. If you're cutting out of different papers, since this is out of the deluxe paper, I'm just going to leave it there and cut this one so I don't have to change my material again on the next mat. And just change it once. So now we're going to cut this mat. And I'll go back and show you where those dots are, Wanda, as soon as we finish cutting. Don't ask me why I didn't put this in fast mode, guys. I could have put it in fast mode. Anybody that has an Explore Air 2 or a Maker, you will have a fast mode option on some materials, not all, some. Your package arrived today, Neela? Good. I'm going to show you that, Alice. As soon as we finish cutting this, I'll go back and I'll show you guys a couple of those tips and tricks for fast mode. As a matter of fact, I've got one more piece to cut. We'll just go over. I'll just cancel this and go over and show you guys, and that way I can go over that one more time. Let me cancel it. All I have left to cut is the base. So I'm just going to get rid of some of these pieces. I'm not going to save it, so it's not going to affect the file. Okay, this is the only piece I have left to cut. Okay, I want to cut this one, so I hit Make It. This is the screen where you get the 3 dots, okay? Right here, if you click on the piece that's on the map, right after you've hit Make It, you get the 3 dots. This is where you can turn it and position it, which you can do on the next screen, but you're not going to get this option here, where you can move it to another mat or hide it completely, okay? And then down here at the bottom, you see Hidden. So if there's a piece that you don't want to cut, you can do that there, okay? Let me see if it'll bring it back. There it goes. You just have to double click it, bring it back. All right, so there's where you have that. And now to find fast mode, you can hit continue, and then you select your device. Then you select your material. And once you have that, let's see, default. Let me just show you. You have to get your, I still had pieces on my mat, Alice. I'm sorry, don't mean to confuse you. Let me get my paper on my mat real quick. You're at this point and you've got your mat in there and you're hitting the load button. And once your mat loads, right here, if your fast mode is available in step 3, then you can turn that on. It is not available for all materials. The Explore Air does not. The Air 2 does. Air 2 and Makers, they have fast mode. And I'll just go ahead and switch back over to the project camera so you guys can watch this cut in fast mode. I've loaded the mat and I've selected everything, and I'm just going to hit the go button. Belinda, after you hit Make It for your project and it sends everything to the mats, yes, they can all do that. That's design space. That's not machine specific. That is design space. Fast mode is machine specific. And we're done. I mean, that fast, it cut that base and scored it. So fast mode is a really cool thing if you're cutting the materials where you can use it. Okay, guys, we're through cutting. Just going to cover my new mat here. And let's go ahead and put one of these together. Let's start with the one that is not tie the knot. So any of you guys who didn't cut with tie the knot, or if you did, they're the same. We're going to do them both together. How about that? On your card base, you have the score lines down the center, and then you have the diagonal. The diagonal is folded to the outside. So you're going to mount and fold. And it's going to look like that. Okay? And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. It's a mount and fold. And then you're going to have a piece that looks kind of like a diamond. And you can open that back up. And then your straight lines are valleys. So you're going to valley fold those. Sorry if I got off camera, I couldn't see my score. Oh, yeah. And so when you fold it, it folds just like that. And that's what your base is going to look like. And I'm just going to give them a good press down my bone folder. Okay, so that's that one. And just for those who want me to repeat, this is the one for tie the knot. It's going to have holes in it. Again, you've got mountain on the diagonals. And then valley on the straight lines. I can see that on that white paper. Maybe if I put it down, there we go. Perfect. And then just use your bone folder and give them a good score. Okay, so then you have your base for your card. I think I got off a little bit on that one. No. Levita will get all over me if I mess up her card. There we go. There, perfect. Okay, so now we have the bases. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to open your card up, and then you're going to put your panels on your card the way that they go. These are my inside panels, okay? You're going to have two oddball panels. Those are for the outside. Those are going to be for the outside of your card. And I forgot to put my pen in so it didn't write on that thing, so that's good. Levita can stamp it. I was going to show you guys. And I'm using art glitter glue. And if you're not familiar, I do sell that in my store at craftingwithapril.co, not com, it's co. But I cannot ship it if temperatures are going to drop below 40 on the shipping route. So, but there is a place where you can check your weather. So you're just going to glue your panels in. Make sure that they're down really good. Pay attention to your corners on these guys, because you don't want your corners to lift up, because they will be opening and closing this card. Does anybody have any questions while we're putting a project together? This card really does go together pretty quick, guys, once you've made one. The tie the knot one does take a little more time. Oops. Here. If I can get that to go up there in that corner where I want it. And then that's what you should be looking at. So you have all your panels, and this is where your vellum panel will go. And Levada, I am not going to glue this down so that you can stamp it or put a sentiment on it and then glue it in. So then that you would, if your panel is ready, then you'll glue it in now. Then you're going to flip your card over, and these two panels will fit in one direction, okay? And that's so, oops, putting them in the wrong spot. It's going to go right here, not on this back piece, but right here. And then on the other side, it is going to go right here. So on the right at the top, and on the left at the bottom. I'm sending you both, Levada, both cards, so you can play around with them. Did I put that? I second guessing myself there, making sure I put it on the right spot. Doesn't take a lot of this glue, guys. That fine tip helps you. It looks like you're putting a lot of glue, but you're not. And it dries pretty quick. So now when you close the card, you have a decorative panel that's a little different from your base and different from your inside papers. And that's how this card opens. But then you have your sentiment piece, or your title piece is what I like to call it, whatever. This would be like a thank you or happy birthday or just because, and then your sentiment would go on the vellum inside. I'm just going to line that up in the center. And you'll still be able to stamp this. And then you'll just want to close your card and center your piece in there like you want it. And then open up one side. I'm just going to guesstimate. Just going to put glue on half of it. And I'm going to close the card. And that's your closure. Now, if you want to put a small little Velcro dot on the other side here, you can do that. And that'll give you a flat closure. I put these guys because of the odd shape in a cellophane envelope, okay? But that's how these cards go together. And this one, now it's totally up to you. This one I did glue the panels down. I'm not going to do it with the other one. I think the knots will be fine. But that's the way the card opens to give you the effect. But you can put those in the cellophane envelopes. Now for tie the knot, this is what we're trying to achieve. So let me get up so you guys can see. When I open this card, that big knot there in the center begins to close, and it ties the knot with the rings on it. And that's what we're going to do. This is the exact same base, okay? So that's what we're looking to achieve with this one. So your panels are going to go on basically the same way. So let's go ahead and start with our center panel on this one. Okay, Jessica. And now you have to look for the ones that have the holes in them. This one has the hole in it here, so it's going to go on this one. And don't worry if your hole doesn't line completely up after you glue it down. It's just a guide. This one has no hole. Does it? Yes, it does. So that one's going to go there. And then that piece will go here. And this piece here. So just kind of lay them out and then start gluing them down. And guys, I am starting to do chalk couture. Some of you knew that from the post in the rooms. So if you want to sign up to do chalk couture, please use my link and sign up. You'll be signing up under me and under Jamie, our moderator, and Melody Lane and Ken Hess. Fantastic group of people. I thought I missed a place right there. And I promise that I will be putting some chalk couture things in the Crafting with April group. Not so much the Cards and Cuddle Bugs or the... I may put some in the Maker group, but the Crafting with April group is for all kinds of crafts. So that's where the majority will be. You need to order some of that glue. When I say that I have a drawer full of glue that I don't use anymore, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Since I got my art glitter glue, that stuff over there never gets touched. The drawer won't come out, but I mean, I have a drawer full, and it will barely close. I mean, barely. So, I mean, I just don't use it anymore. So now we have those panels on, and this is what our card is looking like. Then we have our decorative panels, and again, this is where I told you that they won't go on but one way. I have to put, there it goes. My piece of cardstock was hanging on. You need to line these holes up, so make sure you got those in the right spot. And like I said, if the holes don't line up exactly, not a big deal, because we're going to do another step and it doesn't matter. So those are basically a guide, just so you'll know where to poke your hole if you're not using eyelets. And this is the Natalie Malin paper as well. It's out of that same designer or deluxe pack from Cricut. Okay, so now we have our panels on. I am not going to put this panel on yet. I'm just going to glue it together and get it ready so it can be drying. But we're not going to stick it down as of yet because we've got some things to do first. You still put glue over two-sided tape so you can move it. Yeah, you can do that too. If you put a little extra of the glue, it gives you a little bit more move time. The less you use, the quicker it's going to stick with this art glitter. And then again, your vellum piece would go in there as well now. So what you need next is some type of cord or your ribbons, like the 1/8 inch satin ribbons. You know, the kind that when you tie, your bow won't stay tied. That's what you need here. And I just cut a generous piece because I can trim it up after I'm done. That way I won't have it too short. But I'm just getting a piece of cellophane tape so this doesn't ravel. And if I don't have art glitter glue on my fingers so that the tape will actually stick. So we're going to trim this off anyway, so it doesn't matter if it has glue on it because I have glue all over my fingers. I'm a messy gluer. And then I'm just going to put another piece here, somewhere in here. Just kind of twist it around and then cut kind of like the end of a shoelace. And have that ready. And then, like I said, I'm going to be using eyelets. I know I put them in here so I wouldn't lose them. There they are. And they look like this, guys. It's just a little eyelet, like on your tennis shoes, things like that. And I'm just going to put it over the end of my weeding tool. Then I'm going to find that hole from the inside of the card, and I'm just going to push it in. Give it a push until it clicks. Okay? And it's still going to be sticking out on the other side. That's fine. I'm just putting it over. I don't know if anybody's ever showed you guys how to set these. To me, this is the easiest way on a card. Now if I can find the other hole. There it is. Like I said, it's just a guide. But just holding my fingers on the back side, like so. I don't know if you guys can see. And I'm just going to push it till it pops. So it's set on the front side, but not the back. Okay? Then you're going to use your crocodile or whatever you have for a setting tool. I'm not putting a piece on the back of this either. I'm just going to line it up. And give it a press down. Just so it stays. That's all I'm doing. And that's so my ribbon will go through in and out a lot easier. Okay? And these you can find at Blitsy. This will set several different sizes, but it's called a crocodile. And now I'm just going to run that ribbon, I may have too much tape on there, through to the back side. Get my tweezers. Sometimes I need help. Getting it started. I have too much tape. My tape isn't smooth. From the front. This is the hardest part for me. To the back. And then I'm just going to tie a knot. You can tie a double knot if you want. Totally up to you. And I'm not going to trim it too close. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a tail. If you can see that. Just a double knot. Just so it doesn't pull back through. Okay, and before you do the other side, this is where you want to do your slip knot. And if you have the findings, the one I used on this card, they were some bracelet ends for making bracelets. Okay, let me see if that will focus in on that a little bit better. But that's what they were, and I threaded those on. But if you have just the little fake rings that have a split in them, then you can just slip those on afterwards. You don't have to do it at this step. But you do need your loop in there, okay? And you'll want a good size loop that will sit in the center, because when they open the card, they want it closed. So just hold it, when you get it in the center, just hold your finger there and pull it almost completely closed, okay? So you have a small knot. And I'm just going to keep sliding it till it ends up in the center. That's what I want. You pull that up so you guys can see it. You just want your card open and you want a small knot. Then you're going to thread the other side through. And you may have to adjust your knot a couple of times. It's okay. I think I did better without the tape on this. Even if it does try to ravel a little bit. Yeah, it works better for me. It's whatever works for you. But you want that to be pulled a little bit taut. Okay? With it completely flat. Let me see if I can get this to focus down a little bit more. There we go. So this is what your card should look like at this point. And then you're going to flip it over. And you're going to tie another knot. If you hold it down and bring your knot down to the card is better, because you get that knot where you need it to be. And then I'm going to double it up. I'm just holding my knot and tying it at the base of that first knot. And then I'm just going to trim that off. Hey, Bonnie. So now you have your tie the knot card. And of course you'll have your vellum in there. And when you go to close this up, guys, this is where you'll spread out your knot. Okay? You're just going to open up that loop and close your card just like that. That's all you need to do. So then, when you open it, it ties. I want it to tie more in the center, so I'm going to play with it and move it over. So that's where I want it. Close it up, and then that's where I'll loosen it. So you just want to loosen knot in the center, okay? And that's all there is really to the tie the knot card. Hey Reba, you can do the watch playback. It'll play back. But you're just going to play with it until you get that knot centered for the way that you open the card. Mine keeps wanting to go there, so I'm going to pull it more to this side. And it's probably because I'm pulling that side more. And at this point, also, if you want to glue this down, like I did on this card, you can. You'll glue these panels, but don't glue your knot, because if you do, it won't move. And that's what it is. I don't have any weight on there for the rings, and it's going to the center. And at that point, this is where you'll add on your panel. It's just easier to get to those with this panel not on there, because with that first one, I put my panel on too early, and I fought it the whole time. In Levada, I will enclose a couple of the little rings. They won't be just like those, but I do have some wedding rings that I'll put in there for you on this one. But that's your tie the knot card, guys. All there is to it. Very simple, very versatile base. You can use it for weddings. You can use it for anniversaries. You can use it for any occasion, because you don't have to have the holes in it. Gerald, this is an odd shaped card. Now you can make, I have dimensional envelopes, and you can make a envelope that will fit it. You will need the finished size of this card. You can size this card down as well. So if you want it to fit in a smaller envelope, just size the card down. But it is to get an envelope, get this in an envelope, you will need a 7.75 by 7-inch envelope. What I use are the clear, there goes my chocolate chewer. I use the clear cellophane envelopes for mine. When I have a really odd shaped one like this, I just like the presentation of it. So, I mean, that's how I protect it. But you can put it in, I think Hobby Lobby even sells vellum envelopes, and they're like oversized. And then I have envelopes that I have bought on clearance at places like Tuesday Morning that are 12 by 12. So you can find odd size, larger envelopes. You just have to look for them. And you can even get some of these clear ones that have like the gold stamped on them. They're really pretty, and they're meant for this. The Levada, I will give you some rings for that, and I will give you a couple of the envelopes to go with it in your Happy Mail for your winter chicken dinner. Does anybody else have any design space questions or anything of that nature? Did we need to go over the 3 dots or any of that stuff again, or moving something? Oh, you're welcome, Levada. So everybody's clear and they understand and they know how to put the card together now? You're welcome, Gerald. How to get the card on Cricut again? Sure. Let me go to Design Space. Okay, let me finish that. And I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to open up a new Design Space. I'm not going to save that because I didn't want to make any changes to it. If you can open up any project, I forgot my number, but you can open up any Design Space project, okay, and hit Customize, and it's going to give you a number at the end. And if you have the right number, and I believe it was, anybody remember? Let's see, I'll find it. There it is. 853-71694. So I'm going to change that number to 853-71694. Hit enter. And it's going to open up that design. Yeah, this one is a public file, Belinda. You don't have to be a Patreon to get this file. This file is for everybody. And then you're just going to go in and change whatever sentiment you want in there, and then you're going to attach it to your vellum piece. This is your decorative piece. So that's all you're going to do. You can tell the vellum, I left the vellum set as on the printer icon so that you could attach. I'm going to save it this way and attach, just so people know. I'm not even going to center it, and save. That way it should open up and you'll know which piece is your vellum. What do you only got the cut one? All I did, Alice, was change this to a circle, and the back piece, instead of having these two pieces, I did a circle. It's the same file, and if you don't want the holes in it, you're going to detach your score lines, and once you detach the score lines, contour and select the piece, contour becomes available, and you just hide all contours and it gets rid of the holes. I can just go ahead and put a base in there that will do that if you guys prefer it. Let's duplicate that. Let's move that one back up there. Only need one. There's the tie the knot one. Okay, it cut the words to, Levada. I do know what's wrong. The reason it cut the words to is because you didn't flatten. When you put your words on that vellum, you want to select it, you want to center them like you want to select both pieces, and then you want to flatten down here at the bottom. And then it will cut just the square. It will print the words, and it printed them for you, but it wasn't flattened to the piece. They were just hanging there. They didn't have anywhere to go. So it told the Cricut, okay, I'm going to print it on here, but then we're going to cut around the letters, and then we're going to cut the square too. So if you flatten them together, it's almost like welding, except you can undo, you can unflatten. You'll flatten it, and it makes it one image. Yeah, attach works with writing, not with printing. Okay, and there's a base without holes. I'm going to make this another group for you guys so that you have both cards in one file, if that will help. You'll have to change the colors, of course. Okay, there's the second base set. So you have 2 sets of bases. You'll just need to change your colors. And, of course, your medallions you'll want to change out, too. And then this piece can go for both. Hey, Jamie. Jamie hasn't been feeling well. That's completely understandable. So that concludes the cards and that. And again, like I said, I am going to, let me switch over to the project camera. I got my chalk couture, and in case some of you guys don't know what chalk couture is, you can screen print images onto magnetic chalkboards or regular chalkboards. You can also, they have what they call couture inks, and you can use these couture inks on making shirts or aprons or bags, and you just heat set it. So if you have an easy press, you've got most of it there that you need. But you can do the paste is for the chalkboards. It dries really fast, and I'm going to be doing some projects, and I'll be doing a couple of tutorials on those, and I will also do some ink projects. But if you join up under me, you're going to start with a starter kit if you want to be a designer. And that starter kit is $99, but you get $200 worth of screens and paste and things to get you started. And you even get the 2 chalkboards, the magnetic round and the framed chalkboard. You get those in your starter kits along with the apron and some other things. If you're interested, we'll get with you and go over it more in detail with you. Just use my link to sign up, and then you're going to get a 50% off coupon to purchase more materials if you want to use that. You get that with it in about a week. There's a fee of $19.99 a month, and you get the screens of the month for that. So there are tons of stuff that you can do with the chalk coutures, and there's going to be some projects flying around that has that in there. So anybody that's interested, just go to the link that Sue provided there, and you can sign up there. If you don't want to be a designer, you can go to the store. I have that attached on the website, www.craftingwithapril.co. I'm sorry. And there's a chalk couture link there if you just want to purchase the paste or the inks or the screens just to do projects with. So there's 2 different ways you can go with it. You can just purchase if you'd like to do some of the projects, or you can actually become a designer under me, and we'll get some very, very, very nice projects coming out of this. Jamie is my mentor. She's above me. So if you sign up, you'll be signing up under me, and then it will be Jamie above me, and then Melody above Jamie, and Ken above Melody. So some of you guys know Ken Hess and Melody Lane, and you all know Jamie. So I know a couple of people said they were interested, but Patty's not here, I don't think. She was asking about it, but I'll get with her on that as well. Okay, does anybody have any Design Space questions, Chalk Tour questions, project questions? Have a good night, Belinda. Thank you for joining us. You have a great day. Thank you to all the moderators. I greatly appreciate you. I appreciate you helping me out. Thanks to all the Patreons who support me. I appreciate you very, very much. Our winners were this month were Debbie Roberts. She won the Happy Mail, and Patty Pryor won Amazon gift card from Patreon this month. You have a good night, Laveda. You're very welcome, and congratulations on Winner Winner Chicken Dinner. You guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday. If you're a Patreon, I'll see you Saturday. That's okay, Mo. Good night, everybody.